What's up and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about the characters in Borderlands 2, and we will also be ranking them from worst to best. Now, before we get into ranking all of the playable characters inside of Borderlands 2, we need to talk about best and the worst. What are the specifications? What does it mean to be better than another character? What I mean by that, I'm going to be breaking it down into 3 categories. Those categories will be survivability, strength, and then finally, the action skill. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start off with the worst character. Coming in at our number 6 spot, we have Gage, aka the Macromancer. Now, if you guys are not aware, this class is one of the downloadable content classes, meaning it is entirely optional as to if you want to buy it or not. If there's any DLC you want to skip in the game, probably going to be this one. I don't think she's the worst character in all of the Borderlands universe, but I do think she's one of the weakest characters in the Borderlands universe. For survivability with Gage, I would just have to go ahead and talk about her against raid bosses is absolutely non-existent. If you want to try that, you're an absolute nutcase. When it comes to strength, she does have some decent skills that do up some of the weapons in the game. I mean, the Infinity Pistol's pretty decent on her, the Sandhawk isn't bad, but the Sandhawk isn't bad on any character, so what the hell does that matter, right? There is some other weapons. I mean, I'm not even going to mention them. The conference call is pretty good on her. The striker's good to stack with, of course. Any Jacob shotgun with a good fire rate would be good to stack with. But the striker's pretty popular in the community. But yeah, nothing really too special about Gage and her action skill. You know, Death Trap doesn't do a whole lot of damage. You know, in normal and true Vault Hunter mode, it's not too terrible. But once you get in Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, Death Trap becomes just basically an accessory, and it just seems kind of pointless to even play Gage, if I'm being honest. It's one of the worst action skills in Borderlands. I mean, I love Borderlands 2. This is my favorite game that I've ever played. Just for the record, I'm not trying to bash the game. I just don't like Gage's character. I don't think it's a good character. But that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and just move on to number 5 before I bash this character any further. Moving on to our number 5 spot, we're going to go ahead and get into a little bit better of a character, one that I actually don't mind. It's actually my second favorite character in the game, despite him not being the greatest character in the game. This character is Krieg, ladies and gentlemen. He is your number 5. Now, when it comes to Krieg's survivability in Borderlands 2, it is not the best in the world when it comes to Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, but when it comes to normal mode and true Vault Hunter mode, he is very strong through those first 2 playthroughs, which I know is kind of irrelevant because most of the game is played in Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, but he can still hold his own in Ultimate Vault Hunter mode if you know what you're doing with him, which yes, that can be said for any character. But when it comes to his survivability inside of Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, it is not that bad. Not as bad as Gage's, so I have to put him at number 5. We'll go ahead and talk about his strength, which I think it is absolutely amazing when you hit the ability on this, especially when you have Release the Beast. I mean, he is just an absolute freak. I mean, anytime you get a kill, full health. I mean, that is just amazing. And let's not even talk about how easy the skill comes back after you get Release the Beast. It's literally 1 second, you snap your fingers, your skill's back. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? And that'll go ahead and transition me into the next topic about Krieg, which is his action skill. The Buzz Axe Rampage is absolutely amazing. It's, in my opinion, the funnest action skill probably in the entire Borderlands franchise. Out of any single game, in my opinion, that is the most fun action skill to use. You can just maul pretty much damn near anything with that Buzz Axe Rampage, and it's just fun to use to me. And if you don't have to agree with that if you don't want, but he has so many skills that just make his melee so damn overpowered, and it makes him one of the most fun and versatile characters inside of Borderlands 2. But I do have to mention how heavy he is and how you cannot perform rocket jumps or the geyser trick getting to the Infinity Pistol, you know, little things like that. So he does have some disadvantages, which is also why he is so low on the list. Moving on to our number 4 spot, I know a lot of you guys are going to be shocked that I put this man as high as I put this man. But I am putting this man where I am putting this man for the reason that he has some builds that are absolutely insane these days. And if you guys have not seen them, they are out there. And I want to play this character a lot more. And that character is Axton. Yep, that's right. Your number 4 is the Commando. Well, let's go ahead and talk about him. Let's go ahead and give the breakdown. Let's talk about his survivability first, because it's not as bad as people seem to think. With this man's grenades, he is a beast. You can get class mods that boost the grenader skill, which can give you up to 15, sometimes even 16 grenades, which is absolutely crazy. Imagine 16 fastballs. Exactly. If you guys haven't used the Commando, he's honestly pretty underrated in my opinion. Let's talk about his strength. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the best weapons to use on him. The Baby Maker is especially one of the best ones that you always want to have. Obviously the Herald, but the Herald is good on anybody, so I don't even know why I mentioned that one. But he can take advantage of a lot of good assault rifles that are really underutilized by a lot of players in the community, such as the Hammer Buster, the Toothpick, and many, many more. I also want to talk about the Legendary Soldier class mode, because I think if you're going to play Axton, you do need one of these things, as it really does help out with a lot of skills that you're going to need while you play him. So I just wanted to mention that really quickly before we move into his action skill. His action skill is going to have to be the trusty old turret, everyone's favorite action skill of all time, right? No, well, kinda, sorta, maybe. You see, the turret, I have a weird relationship with it, because I really do like it in normal and true Vault Hunter mode, but when it comes to ultimate Vault Hunter mode, it acts as nothing but a shield. It's absolutely garbage. It shoots literal Nerf bullets. The biggest downfall of the Commando, in my personal opinion, because in ultimate Vault Hunter mode, it acts as nothing but a distraction, because when it gets destroyed, you're going to have to wait another, minute and a half, 2 minutes for that son of a bitch to come back. And honestly, that's a little bit annoying. The turret is really good for new players, though. I will say, if you're coming into Borderlands 2 and you have never played this game before, I would say the Commando is probably the best class to get started with. If it's your first character, I'd go ahead and pick him, just because the turret does really help with those first 2 playthroughs. It'll get yourself used to the game, used to the weapons and the mechanics, try and figure things out, and watch more and educate yourself on the video game before you can get too crazy into all the crazy glitches and all kinds of stupid shit that you can do with Salvador and Zero, etc. Coming in at our number 3 spot, we have Maya, the Siren. Now this class for me is probably my 3rd favorite class to play in Borderlands 2. I just really enjoy being able to control the battlefield and phase lock enemies and be able to just know that, hell, they ain't gonna hurt me. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna shoot him until he's dead, and then when that's over, maybe my bubble will go to another enemy and I'll kill him too. And enough rumbling, let's go ahead and hop into the survivability of Maya, which I do think is one of the best of all of the characters, which explains why she is ranked so damn high. When it comes to Maya's strength, you gotta go ahead and mention Cloud Kill right away, because through the first 2 playthroughs and even in Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, it still holds up because of that patch they did a couple of years ago. Cloud Kill is absolutely overpowered as all hell, and if you guys don't use Cloud Kill, use that shit right now. Go respec. With the phase lock, you also have the ability to automatically slag the enemies with another skill in her skill tree, which does really help because slag is pretty much necessary 100% of the time in Ultimate Vault Hunter mode. I have always really appreciated that. When it comes to the weapons that are good with Maya, you want to talk about the Sandok, you want to talk about all of your tried and traditional weapons that are good with, most characters. But the Sandhawk, for some reason with Maya, I don't know why, but that thing just feels so good on her, and it always just works so well. And if you guys haven't used the Sandhawk on Maya, which I know 99% of the community have, and that's because I guess us Borderlands 2 players are smart people. Moving down into her action skill, which I have talked about in each category, because how can you not? Her action skill is half of her gimmick, which, she is just that damn good with it. The action skill of Phase Lock is one of the best in the Borderlands series. You're able to revive your teammates within seconds instead of sitting there and waiting for about, 10 seconds or 8 seconds, however long it takes. Or you're able to completely stop enemies from shooting at you and also stop their movement completely, putting them completely in a stationary position so you can shoot them and kill them and take their legendary weapons. Coming in at our number 2 spot, we have none other than the Assassin Zero. Now, I'm sure this isn't any surprise to any of you, because I'm sure you guys all know who number 1 is by now, if you didn't when you clicked on this video. Now, with that being said, let's hop into the survivability of the Assassin Zero, because I think his survivability is absolutely amazing, one of the best in the game. You can't help but go ahead and talk about sniper rifles first, because in my opinion, his sniper rifle build is miles better than any other build that he has, even the melee build, which is absolutely amazing. Don't get me wrong, his melee build is great. Now, if you guys want to use that, you can. That is totally fine. But in my opinion, the sniper build is overpowered as all hell. Let's go ahead and talk about his strength. I'm going to go ahead and talk about a skill now, which I'm going to have to talk about with the action skill later as well. You're going to hear me talk about it twice, and that is Bore, because good God almighty, has anything ever done as much damage as Bore does? On screen now, you'll see me killing the bunker with Bore just in the background, because my God, this skill is overpowered. That is the one skill that is helping me with that kill there that you're seeing on screen. That is it, people. There's really not much more to talk about when it comes to his skills, but there is more to talk about, and we'll get to it. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Zero's action skill, Deception, being able to throw out a decoy and go invisible 5 or 6 seconds, and maybe even more if you're skilled enough. You have the kunai knives that Zero has, which are one of the best skills in the game. Let's be honest about that. Now, I didn't really think these things were very good when I first started playing the game either. But when you use them on normal enemies, it can actually kill them, believe it or not. If you get criticals, yeah, they're pretty damn good. And then Bore as well. You can't talk about his action skill without Bore, because without Bore, it wouldn't be Zero. He'd probably be lower on the list if Bore didn't exist, if we're being honest. So, with that being said, Bore is honestly the most overpowered skill in Borderlands 2, in my opinion. And I'm just going to leave it at that for Zero. And we're going to go ahead and move on to the number 1 spot. Coming in at our number 1 spot, we have predictable Salvador the Gunserker. Who would have seen it coming from a mile away, right? Exactly. The most broken logic in the game, Salvador the Gunserker. I still want to say that he is one of my favorite classes in the game, hence why I play him so much in my videos. He is my main character that I like to run, especially since I have, I'm trying to complete this Salvador that I'm working on. But that's besides the point. I'm getting off topic. Let's talk about Salvador's survivability. Go ahead and get into it. Alright, his survivability. He is the most overpowered character in the damn game. Being able to Gunserk a Grog Nozzle and a Herald, or a Grog Nozzle and the Orphan Maker, or a Grog Nozzle and a Quad, or a Grog Nozzle and a Conference Call. Probably the first pistol in the game. You could probably kill anything with it. Being a little dramatic there, but Salvador's survivability is absolutely incredible. He's stronger than any other character in the game by far. When you talk about his strengths, being able to rocket jump with 2 weapons is always a fun one to go ahead and mention right off the bat. But most of his advantages come in terms of the skill tree, so I'm going to go ahead and just move into that quickly. But I do want to say that his strength is amazing, and the damage that he can put out with Money Shot and the skills that I'm about to mention here in just a second. Alright, enough about his overpowered ass. I want to go ahead and hop into his action skill. Being able to Gunserk was absolutely game breaking at the time for Borderlands 2 when this was introduced, because he could absolutely melt anything anytime with any weapon, it felt like. Now, he has received some nerfs, and I mean some, and that is iffy, because the dude is still absolutely broken. He can Money Shot, and he could keep his action skill up forever. The dude is absolutely insane. Now, I want to also go ahead and talk about other skills like Yippee-Ki-Yay and just the pistol skills. There's a lot of skills that increase pistol damage. His pistol build is absolutely overpowered as hell. The deputy build, overpowered as hell. There's just so many different things you can do with him. The Hoarder build's another one. Salvador is 130% the best character in Borderlands 2, and anybody who wants to argue with me about it can do so below in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching this video in its entirety. Maybe you guys are feeling generous and want to smash the like button. And with that, I will see you guys next time.